Hi, Joe Soto here again with Revenue Inbound and with Ty Lopez's social media marketing agency program. I'm excited to talk about how to kick off your clients and how to manage them once you have them, right? So if you're doing your job, which is selling, that's your main job, by the way. I had somebody say, what's my number one job when I start my social media agency? And they think I'm going to say to manage people's social media or to learn social media, but the number one job is selling. But once you've sold some clients, you got to be able to manage them and keep them, right? I've gotten this, how long do clients last? Well, however long you're good at getting results and keeping them. Now, sometimes clients leave even though you're getting them results because they do what I call graduating away from you. And so I would encourage you, this is kind of a side note, here I go off my path already. Have a plan for when clients want to leave because they want to graduate from you. What I mean by that is they think that now they can do it. Now, maybe they've hired somebody who can take it over from here. That usually doesn't go well, by the way, in my experience. And I've had some clients come back, I've had some other clients not come back and they're just too prideful to come back or whatever it might be, but that happens. The average client should stay with you for a minimum of 9 months. That's my average is between 9 months and a year. For smaller clients, for the larger clients, the average is well over a year. I have some clients that have been with me since 2011. I have some celebrity speaker author clients like Harvey McKay and some others that have been with me for 5 years plus. So if you're getting clients results, they'll stay with you forever, ideally. But you got to know how to manage them. You have to know how to get them started too. So we're going to talk about that today. So, and you got a handout inside of this module that's more valuable probably than this video, but I will walk you through it here. I'm going to show you an example of what one of the forms looks like that I'm referencing. But we're going to talk about during the close, because that's really when the client kickoff starts. When you're closing the client, they've said yes. And then we're going to talk about between the close and your actual kickoff meeting. During the kickoff meeting, managing your client expectations, and then we'll talk about some social media management tools that I would personally recommend, and if you're not using them already. Okay, so let's talk about during the close. So during the close, once you close a client, they've said yes, and you're ready to go. Here's the steps to get them started. Number one, have them sign your agreement. Now, it's funny how many people leave and say, well, I'll email you the agreement, you can sign it and fax it back. If you're not showing up to a sales appointment with your agreement in your bag for them, where you could just fill in their name, then you weren't expecting a sale, right? And they're going to know it. They're going to be like, geez, you weren't even expecting, Now, there's another school of thought where some people say, well, you can say, well, no, I was coming here just to have a conversation with you. No, I'd like to go in and say, I fully expected you were going to need my help, and I have my agreement in my bag with me. And I pull it out and say, let's get started. And you're going to get their credit card information on file for two reasons. One reason is, and it's the main reason for everybody, is that you're going to let them know that you're going to be billing them recurring from that day forward. Because from that day forward, you're going to start working on their business. You're going to start prepping for the kickoff of their business. Now, if they say, well, I really don't want to start until we start our kickoff meeting, you can do that, but you got to tell them, I'm not going to be working on your business until then, doing very much. But that's fine. We can start it from the day of your kickoff meeting, but I like to get it started right away. How many of you like cash flow? I like to get cash flow started right away, so I usually say from this day forward, I'm going to start planning. I'm going to start getting your digital marketing plan ready even before your kickoff meeting. I'm going to set you up in our collaboration online. So I'm really working from day one. So let's take your credit card information now. But either way, you need to get your credit card on file. And so you should have a credit card authorization form. And by the way, your lawyer will get you a form like that. But there's plenty of LegalZoom has credit card authorization forms. You can Google credit card authorization forms. A bank needs to see that you've gotten proper authorization of a credit card form in case it gets disputed or there's problems. So keep that in mind. And then ideally you have them sign that. I like to get signatures. I still like to get paper signatures. Now, I actually used to use DocuSign and did all my agreements online. You can choose to use that. That's fine. I went off of that because I like getting the ink on paper. I like the personal touch of that still when I'm closing accounts, particularly if it's in person. But you can fall back and use DocuSign as well. If you don't know what DocuSign is, just look it up. It's just digital signatures and digital agreements, and they work fine. But you do need their credit card. I explained to them how the billing will work for the services and also for the advertising piece. So if I've included the advertising inside of my fee, which is one school of thought taught in this course, then I want them to know that a portion of this fee is covering their advertising costs. I really want them to understand that. That if you're charging, say, for example, $3,000, but your baseline fee is $2,000, you're charging $1,000 of that overall monthly expense is going to be towards Facebook advertising. You want to make sure that's really clear to them. For most of our accounts, we don't do it that way. We actually take a card on file for their own ad account. That way they get billed their credit card fees separately, and they can kind of see those fees separate from our fee, but it really depends on personal preference. You just want to get their credit card on file. Set a time for a 60-minute kickoff meeting. Write in that meeting and get it on your calendars before you walk out the door. That's how you close a client. You want to make sure they know you mean business and you're excited to get them started. You might have a member of your team, if you've grown, to bring with you. You may not. They may have somebody else they want to include in that kickoff meeting. Typically it's an office manager or a marketing person or somebody else they've designated to help you or be a point person for you. That's why the kickoff meeting typically doesn't happen on the same time as the close, plus they weren't budgeting an extra hour to spend with you. Let them know that you'll email them a client profile kickoff form that will be online, that they can fill out online, which is really easy to do. It's much easier than printing off something and having to write on it or fill it out. And that this will be the document you'll be reviewing in your kickoff meeting. So you want them to fill it out as much as possible. Now, you can let them off the hook a little bit and mention to them that if they don't get it all filled out prior to your meeting, it's okay. You just want them to fill it out as much as possible. Typically, I've found clients kind of jump on it. They want to fill it out because it's a way for them to kind of express their voice of what they think you need to know about their business. And I'll show you an example one that we were doing for restaurants right now so you can see what that looks like in just one moment. So now you're done. That's when you've closed, you've left. So the next section is before or between the close and the kickoff meeting. What do you do between that time? Let's say a week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be. Well, the only thing you really need to do is email them that kickoff form. Now, you have to do other things like, maybe start thinking about what a digital marketing plan might look like for their business. But really, you just need to get that email to them and follow through with what you said. So let's go online, and I'll show you an example. And by the way, you're going to create this in Google Forms. All right, and so you're going to go to. Let's get back to the board here. You're going to go to docs.google.com/forms, lowercase. Now you could just Google Forms, and it'll take you right to a link. This isn't difficult. And if you've never created a Google form before, you're going to love it. It's really user-friendly. It's why we love it. It's so simple to use, and it's so simple for the client to fill out. Once you've done one, you can then click on Send and shorten the link and have it sent right from Google right to their email account, or you can just copy the link, put it into your email, and say, as promised, here's the form to fill out, for the client kickoff form for you to fill out prior to our meeting. And if we go online here, you can see here for our restaurant division, you can see here, you can steal this too, right? You can screenshot this right now and steal kind of our verbiage for how we write this. But essentially, you're just saying these are some questions that we have to ask to better know your business. It'll help us understand your goals, your brand, your target audience, and it can help you get new customers. Please take a minute to fill this out. So it's your way of collecting their data, right? Their company name, in this case, restaurant name, which sometimes is different than their company name, by the way. Their contact title. And look, they just type in the answer here. And then they go on to the next one. And once they fill this out, it then sends the response to me or to our agency. And once they fill it out, we get notified, but they can always go back to it and edit it and add more to it, etc. I'll make sure we print this out before the meeting though, because I want to have it right in front of me so I can just kind of write some notes on it. But you can also just pull it up online. But you can see here the things, you could steal even the format. I don't care, you can steal it, take it. I don't care if you copy this. This is pretty generic. want some basic information. We want to know what their preferred method of communication. By the way, putting these little check boxes in, it's all really simple to do inside of Google Forms. This looks fancier than what it really is even. Google Forms is so easy. So the goals, we want to know what their goals are. We want to understand their brand and their concept better. You're going to tweak this a little bit to be unique for your business, like, you know, what makes your plumbing business or your home remodeling business different. You can create a different form for every niche if you want. That's what we do. We want to ask some marketing. What have you tried? Now, some of these are questions we actually asked in our sales meeting, but maybe we didn't get the full answer to it. Maybe they didn't divulge all the information. I find people are wildly more honest once they've agreed to do business with you, because now it's like they're all in. And so all of a sudden the honesty just starts spilling out a little bit more so than before they agreed to even do business with you. You're going to find that in some of the answers when people fill this out. What marketing do you feel has or could work? Do you use email marketing? We want to know if they do, if they send email communication, how often, how big is their list? Top competitors. We talk about audience and targeting. Who's your target audience, primary and secondary? What do they love about you? What do they hate? What are their interests, etc. I'm just scrolling down here and walking you through this. Facebook page name. Now, this is what we need. See how this section's titled What We Need? We let them know if you don't have a particular page or login below, leave it blank. But they're going to have to make us an admin of their page. We need their Twitter login, Instagram, YouTube, website, Pinterest, email software login, Google for Business, Yelp, email marketing login, other, because we forget a lot sometimes what they might have, and so on. So is there anything we need to know that you have not asked or you believe would be helpful for us to know as your marketing partner? That's it. So that's all the harder the form is, and you need to send it over to them. And I encourage you to get that done immediately upon getting a client. You do not have to work on this until you have clients, by the way. Now, the last thing I want is to hear, I've been working on my Google Forms for my client kickoff meeting, and then I ask maybe in the Facebook group, do you have any clients? And you say no. This is for when you already have a client. Don't worry about doing this stuff until you have a client, because this form takes, I don't know, an hour to make, which is an hour wasted of not prospecting if you don't have clients yet. All right, now let's go back. So during the kickoff meeting, you're going to review the form questions. You're going to make sure you have everything you need. You're going to discuss how you're going to collaborate online. I encourage using collaboration software like Basecamp. Go to basecamp.com. That's what we use. A lot of businesses are familiar with it. Asana is another good one for project management and for managing your clients. Trello, or you can just simply use Google Drive. You need a place online where people can upload their documents, their photos, and any type of messages or information that you think needs to stay in one spot so it's not confused and lost in often space in email. So collaboration software is very useful, and we use Basecamp for our agency. I have used Asana before, and I'm very familiar with that too. And then you want to decide how often you'll meet in person or on the phone. And then I want to make sure you take a moment and understand that you have to explain what the expectations are for your business. You need to explain what success looks like. And you need to ask them what they think success looks like. So you guys are on the same page. Nothing's worse than a client who says, well, I'm really expecting we're going to get new businesses by Thursday. And it's like Tuesday. You say, well, you know, that's not realistic. We're just now getting you started. You know, they won't be that crazy, but you're going to hear some crazy. And sometimes you're going to find out they're going to say, well, I'm really giving this 6 months. And you're going to feel a sense of relief that you're not so pressured to get results tomorrow. But you need to ask that question. What does success look like for you? If this is 12 months down the road and we were successful in working together, what would have had to happen? That's the Dan Sullivan question, right? If it's 12 months from now and we've been working together for 12 months and we've had a successful relationship, what does that look like to you? Ask that question. Set the client expectations then by telling them how often you'll meet every month. Maybe it's once a month, maybe it's twice a month, maybe it's by phone once a week. That's up to you, and it's sometimes up to the client. I usually say we usually meet with our clients once or twice a month, and it really depends on the client and the size of them. Reporting, not very hard because you can use Facebook Insights. Hootsuite has really good reporting now and analytics. You can just print out for your customer and show it to them. Instagram, all that stuff is great to buy you some time to show them reach and how many likes you got and followers and all that for their business, but what they really want to know is, are you increasing their sales? And that's something they're tracking. I got some other examples, and I have a link here where you can access some analytic tools. And then I recommend social media management tools. I recommend Hootsuite. It's cheap and it's really easy to manage multiple Twitter or Facebook accounts using it. There's, I think it's called grum.co, and that's for Instagram scheduling. Believe it or not, you can go on your desktop and schedule your Instagram posts using that. We also have used, and we continue to use it for some of our older clients, particularly Sprout Social, which, by the way, they have a really great blog that you should follow. And also one of the best blogs on the internet is Buffer. But they also are a great management app for scheduling posts, which you're going to need to do if you're managing multiple clients, and your social media strategist will need to do if they're managing multiple clients. You don't need any of that until you have multiple clients, right? Because that's how you're going to manage multiple clients and the workload and the client load you're going to use. So again, there's a great handout that I've put together here that you can access to kind of give you step-by-step to what we've talked about. But that's how you kick off a client, and that's how you manage your clients successfully. Good luck.